All right, the results are in for the poll that everybody's been waiting for. According to my very scientific poll yesterday, by a margin of about 30 points,
Yep.
dogs better than cats.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about that kind of poll. Cats don't give a shit what you think about that, which is why cats are awesome.
Yep. They are, little furry things of cosmic impedance, I think is the potential way to describe them.
We, my wife and I have spent a lot of time watching House Hunters International because, we'd like to try this someday, like not be on the show. I mean, like move, internationally, spend part of the time, international, whatever. And yet, this show is incredibly frustrating. The people on it are idiots. The show has devolved into like a reality show where they try to pit the two people against each other. They're always arguing, and it's just an act. At the end, they're like, "Oh yeah, we picked this one. It was the obvious choice." And it's infuriating because it's the kind of show that we should love, and we watch it because we hate ourselves. It's awful. We hate it every time. We hate it. Anyway, the reason I bring that up now is, this is unscientific, but I'll say 50%-ish of the time, these idiots bring animals with them to Europe or to Australia or wherever they're going. And it's like, and they refer to the dogs as their furry babies and how they're the mom and the dad. And there's always this thing where they, like, we can't move into this apartment because our dog's got little legs and you can't go up the stairs. And I'm like, why would you bring an animal to a different continent? Like, I just, like, it's just like a mentality with dog owners in particular. Like, it's just...
Anything else on your chest you need to get off today?
He brought it up.
I will tell you on the same vein. So if you scroll the podcast back like 4 weeks, I don't know, months, time's flat at this point. My YouTube recommendations were all like these ranches in Montana and like out west, and I loved them. So it has slowly morphed into now estates on like in Hawaii, and I'm asking our listeners if anybody has about $17 million that they don't want. I have a great place you can buy. I will come and stay with you, and it's like
it's funny how on the opposite end of the spectrum we are in this capacity, because my YouTube video recommendations have skewed to the point where I watched a video yesterday where a guy bought a house that had been abandoned and then fixed it up himself, kind of like you did your basement, but to the whole house, like ripped everything out, blah, blah, blah. Total cost of materials was $12,000. It looks great.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I'm like, a lot of people, you always want what you don't have. Like you,
exactly. $17 million.
People are like, I wish I could. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking more of like skills, like,
sure.
People wish they could paint or draw or play an instrument or whatever it might be. And the area that I fall into for that is I wish I was handy. I wish I knew how to do that stuff. I wish I was capable in that way. You might have seen the pictures of the keg of whiskey that my friend had sitting in his garage for 4 years, and he unkegged it. Freaking awesome. But we were in his garage, and his garage is full of tools that are used and are, and I said to my wife again, I was like, Stephanie, this is the garage of a man who gets shit done. And if you go in my garage, there's 2 cars, there's some extra food.
Do you have a fridge in your garage? A lot of people
have
a fridge.
Of course there's a fridge in my garage. Like, I am the exact opposite of that guy, and it's
Usually with like renos and stuff, materials aren't the expensive part. It's always the labor. I mean,
yeah. And I've said again, for some reason I keep referencing my wife here, but we've had this conversation before. Like, I feel like you could buy a plot of land, and that the actual cost of building a home, like an acceptable, nice home, not the $12,000 little home that the guy built, but like it should not be that much money,
No, I realistically, like, knowing what I spent on this basement, I bet you could build a decent house for about $40,000 just in materials. Yeah.
So if you could get land for $100,000 or even $200,000, whatever, and then build like an awesome modern new place, it doesn't have to be humongous. In fact, ideally, it wouldn't be. That's how that's my belief as well. But of course, I would have to.
Problem is, it takes you like 3 years to build a house by yourself. That's the downside. But
yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It would take me infinity years. So yeah, it's just a little dream.
I would imagine you building a house would be like a parallel to me drawing a pig, right? Like you look at the house and it's all done and I'd be like, that's what you built, Paul?
Yeah, but you know what? The difference is you draw a pig. Well, actually, it lives forever. I can see it now. It's still on my refrigerator.
Still there.
It's still there. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Usually that type of thing would just come and go. Whereas I would be like that. You ever see the Simpsons episode where Homer Simpson tried to build a grill, and then they kind of pan back and you see the grill, it's perfect. But then you realize he's looking at the box, and then he looks over at his jumbled pile of crap, and he's like, why doesn't mine look like that? That would be me. Yeah. So.
Anyways, the reason people might actually tune into this today, I don't imagine there's going to be a lot of news today, but there's definitely some people, if you're lucky, check your front porch maybe, and Series X and an S have shown up in Canada and in Portugal. The interesting thing about the Portugal one is actually that came direct from Microsoft. So it wasn't, usually these screw-ups, like the one in Canada came from a third-party retailer, they just shipped it out. But the Series X in Portugal, according to this individual, came directly from Microsoft. So
I wonder if Microsoft is going to change their embargo on the reviews. I guess we'll see.
I doubt it.
I hope they don't, because I got to say I'm not ready. Although I've absolutely started it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we got that going on. We've got pixels of red and blue in an iPhone 12 review. See how I did that?
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Wasn't it, not before you dive into that, wasn't it, who was it? It was a Japanese company that tried to introduce yellow pixels. Sanyo?
Yellow pixels.
Yeah. They made a big deal about yellow pixels on their TVs. I thought it started with an S. Quatron, I think, was the name.
What?
Yeah, Sharp. You remember?
Yellow pick? Why?
Yeah, because we have red, blue, and green pixels, and then they try to like separate their TVs out by having a yellow pixel. So there was 4 pixels, and they called it Quatron. Anyway, this is a random tangent, but anyways, clearly it didn't take off.
This hasn't taken the industry by storm.
Yeah, it didn't really work out, but that was their differentiator.
Wow. I remember that. Interesting.
So, anyways, how's the iPhone 12 all?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I can keep that one short. It's great. I mean, it's it's Apple, so there's always some weird little things and whatever. I had some particular issues with regards to spam on both phone calls and text messaging, which I haven't rectified. I also, by the way, missing text messages, and this has persisted. Last night there was a conversation. I sent a video of the cat to the kids. We have like a little group messaging thing. Obviously, kids both responded, and then my wife responded to something else, and I was like, I'm missing a message. My kids both have iPhones. That should always work. So I can't explain that. I mean, I just observe it. Anyway, it's a great phone. And I'm going to keep it. It's I could picture using it full time, although I'd like to figure out the text message thing. This morning I switched I switched to the OnePlus 8T because I need to review that. And I was just prepping that article. It's already written. I just, not a review, just like a kind of a second impressions kind of a thing. I took it out this morning and took some photos and blah, 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 whatever. So, anyway, the iPhone's great. And my cat.
I mean, that is the least surprising news that anybody will hear. I mean, it's their bread and butter. They're not going to go kind of crazy with it. So,
no, I mean, it's hard because they did raise the price versus the normal iPhone 12 last year. The screen is significantly better. For if you're an iPhone Pro customer, the screen on the smaller version is now a little bit bigger. They're the same size now, 6.1 inches. I obviously the Pro has a third camera and some camera capabilities you don't get on the non-Pro. There's different materials on the side and colors, and I like the muted colors of the Pros, frankly, better than the non-Pros. But you're going to put a case on it, so I don't think that matters too much. It's a nice phone. It's.
Did you order? I mean, just blow the credit card out of the water. Did you order a Pro Max, or are you just not doing it? I don't blame you.
I'm not going to skip it this year. Yeah.
Because the Pro Max?
Again, Mini? Honestly, what could I write about the iPhone that would be meaningful to anybody? I mean, it's other than like I am an Android user and I do prefer Android, but I like this. But I mean, I don't really have much to offer here. I suppose the photography stuff might be semi-interesting, but the cost is so extravagant to get up to the Pro Max from this. Like I don't know. I've ordered a Google Pixel 4a 5G, which I know is going to be disappointing in some ways, but I mean, that's something I have to spend my own money on. So I'd rather
Yeah.
I could kind of get this iPhone plus the Google phone, trade in my previous phones, and spend the same amount of money as I would if I had bought just the iPhone Max, the big one. So
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I didn't buy any of them, so
yeah, which is great.
yeah, really contributing to the cause here.
I look forward to being a normal person someday. Buy a phone, just keep using it. Just use it. Just use a phone like a person.
Yeah, actually, there was I can't. I think it was, if you're familiar with the YouTube channel Jerry Rig Everything, where he just basically breaks phones apart. He had a really good statement while he's doing this. He's like, if you actually care about the environment, don't buy a new phone. Use one for 3
Yes.
years. And it's like,
That's right.
because he was ripping on Apple for trying to say they're eco-friendly stuff.
Oh, it's nonsense. And I hope, yeah, that's the thing. I did buy you have to buy like a USB charging brick. It's only $20, but they don't include it in the box. It's
Right.
like, seriously, but they give you a lightning to USB-C cable, which doesn't work with any of the chargers you already have, unless you already have an iPad or a MacBook, whatever. But I mean, obviously you want a charger for your phone. Like,
Right.
I suppose a significant percentage of people will try the MagSafe wireless charging. That's fine.
See, to me, that MagSafe wireless charger is like no appeal to me at all.
Well, I guess the appeal is just whatever the appeal is of wireless charging, but
Right,
it's slow,
like-
right? It's slow. I think it's 15 watts, which is, faster than 5 watt on the little charger from before. But the Apple charger is 20 watts. The OnePlus phone I'm reviewing right now, 65 watts. And I, off the top of my head, this could be a little inaccurate, but when you charge this thing, it's like the screen, like you can see the numbers going up, like it's so fast. I went from 40% to 100. I think it was in 22 or 23 minutes. It's incredible. It's like it's throwing power at it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think the thing that would, more than anything for the next gen iPhone, that would actually get me to jump, which at that point my phone would be, 3 years, 3.5, whatever it is, would be USB-C. To me is a big, just because then nearly everything in my house would finally be USB-C, which would be a big win.
Faster wireless charging would be, I bet they just don't go USB-C. I bet they get rid of the port. I bet that's how they go. I'd like to see this body with no notch.
Yeah.
And, smaller bezels, although the bezels are less of an issue. But I don't understand how they've kept this notch for this many years. Like, it's the rest of the industry, literally the rest, has moved on from this. We have these little hole punch things, and it's nice. And I got to say, you go to the gym or whatever, watch a movie, the little hole punch thing does not get in the way. The notch is, it's you can do it. It's fine. But I mean, it's noticeable. And it's just, it's like a quarter an inch of the screen.
Yeah,
so whatever.
it's sizable. It hasn't changed since what, the 10?
It hasn't changed since the original X, right?
iPhone 10 or whatever. Yeah. So how many years is that now? We got 10, 11,
3,
12, something like that. Well, we got 10S, so that's like 4 years, something like that. I don't know. Math is hard.
Right. It's weird. It's weird only because everyone else was doing notches. A lot of them moved to small notches. They moved to teardrop notches, and then they moved to not having notches. And some are trying to do the under display thing. Obviously, that's still not quite there. But I don't know. The other thing I'd like to see Apple do too, by the way, is return some form of Touch ID to the iPhone.
I was hoping that was going to show up because they brought it to the iPad Air or whatever.
iPad Air, right? So why not do the same thing for the iPhone? Look, I'm not gonna ding them for this in a review or anything. But I go to the gym, I get a mask on, and I have to keep unlocking the thing because I have to see what the weight is for the next machine. And you do it every time. I'm so used to how fast it is. You bring it up, it doesn't do. You're like, oh right, I got a mask on, and then. You have to do the pin. It's, again, what a first world problem. Like, I get it, but I'm just surprised they haven't done something. An in-screen fingerprint reader would be amazing if they did it right, and Apple would do it right, or if they could do it somehow in the power button.
So there we go.
Yep.
Okay.
It's great though. It is great. I don't want to all of these criticisms, whatever. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. No, I mean, but they're fair. At the end of the day, they're fair, but I don't think anything that you just listed is going to stop someone from buying the iPhone if they were going to buy it anyway.
Nor should it. Yeah. Yep. Just know what you're getting into, and you do. When you buy one of these things, it's fine.
Yep. You're getting into cash.
Yes. You're getting deep into your bank account.
But there's nothing there. Ooh.